Hey, welcome everybody. This is video number 2, the original video where I introduced my Harvester International mission. I took that down for a while because I wasn't sure if I was going to go, but I think it's a go. We're going to blast off. We got our booster rockets, and here I am. My name is Eric Engelman. In the Navy, they used to call me Bhagwan. I was Lieutenant Eric Engelman back then, made Lieutenant Commander just before I got out of the reserves. Eric Bhagwan Engelman. But we're going to be, for this mission, we're going to be in Sunshine, and I'll take you for a little tour in Sunshine in just a moment. But, so what is the mission basically? Well, it's a little hard to explain the mission without some context, but I'll make that context really brief. You know, after I was in the Navy, or towards the end of the Navy, I became a Christian. And then I went to seminary, and then I did went actually overseas and did a whole bunch of advanced study over there, mostly Old Testament theology. And then in the last 14 years or so, I've written several books, and now I want to promote those books. And my ideas, I mean, the theological and the philosophical and the ideas of truth that are behind what's in those books. My last book that I wrote, by the way, is an autobiography called Confessions of a Cutthroat Trout. And so I want to go on the road. And my plan is to head east, and we're going to visit some sites. I'm going to give you weekly updates, and together we'll see some beautiful sites out there. But once a week, I want to give you some kind of devotional message, biblically based devotional message, but I'll also be talking about, the flora and fauna, about how are things going with Sunshine, what mechanical work needs to be done, and probably I'm going to be regularly wrenching on Sunshine, and maybe some current politics, a little bit of that, but mainly biblical perspectives. Sometimes what we'll be talking about is just based on where we happen to be. And so it should be interesting to you, and it should be a blessing. Now, Sunshine. Come and meet Sunshine, a 1970 International Harvester pickup. They made pickups. The light truck line of International made pickups for 50 years or something. And the last one they made was in 1975. When I was a kid, we had a 1974 International, almost identical to this. But this one's a 4-wheel drive. It's a 1970. And I've made a few improvements. So come and take a look. First of all, you have the winch here. The winch, this actually was on an international travel law, which is basically the same as this. And but it was quite a process getting this thing on. I won't go into the details. Come on and take a peek at the engine there. There's been all kinds of improvements made from right to left. You got new boosted brakes, got a new carburetor, new valve lifters in there, new heater core, battery. I mean, there's lots of good stuff, and she's purring like a kitten. And by the way, thanks to mainly the man who's helped me the most on this, to do the body work and get out a lot of the original rust that was in there, starting a couple years ago when I bought the truck. Mr. Luis Gallo has just done great work. And here recently, working with the engine and trying to get the drive shaft put on the winch and other issues has been Mr. Frank Gillen, who's really helped me a bunch. He sold me the camper. All right, let's close this. All right, we got some good, almost new BF Goodrich tires on there. We have some lights here to help at night, turning left and right. So those are special units there. All right, we'll look in the cockpit from the other side. Notice the beautiful trim. There's actually 2 fuel tanks, one on this side, one on the other. Notice the camper. Notice the beautiful curtains in the camper made by Mrs. Sandy Burke, the pastor. Randy Burke is a pastor in my church. His wife graciously made me those beautiful sunflower curtains. And on some nights, I'll be sleeping in the back of this. There's plenty of room there to have a bunk, and you can also cook. There's a kitchen affair where you can keep your pots and pans of stuff attached to the door. And we thank Lola for she painted the elk on there, and she's going to paint a mule deer here and a white-tailed deer up there here in the next, actually tomorrow. This camper here is a Pullman camper. They used to make these down in Downey, California in the 70s. So this camper dates from almost exactly of the truck. The man who helped me with the engine work, he's the one who sold me the camper. Again, the beautiful curtains that Sister Sandy made. And come on over. And here we got deluxe Kenwood sound. We got a subwoofer behind the seat there. And notice, let's see, manual choke. We got a manual throttle over here. We got a RPM gauge put in. That's a big help. Here we have a backup camera. And so there's a 5, the transmission is manual 5-speed. Very strange shift pattern, but it works. So that's what matters. All international. The engine is international 392 cubic inch. The transmission is an international transmission also. All right, and here's a fuel tank on the other side that's actually up underneath the cab there. So that is sunshine. Now what is the main purpose here, the grand purpose? Well, I mentioned that in the first video if you want to check that out, but it's evangelistic, you know. All my books, even though a couple of them are quite a little bit up there scholarly, the purpose though is trying to tell people the truth. And the truth is that first of all, that there is truth. And that truth, it starts with there is a God, and he does have a plan for the salvation of man, because man has walked away from God and done bad things, and that makes him guilty before God. And that's the whole reason for Jesus, is to pay for the guilt, to pay the penalty that man owes to God for their sins. Jesus paid that, and all he asks is that we believe him and thank him for what he did. Be a believer. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and you will be saved. Now, this mission is it's hard to say. Is the Lord leading me to do this mission? I don't know. I do know that the Lord has provided for me, till now in supernatural, amazing ways. I've been really perplexed about once I was done writing these books, really perplexed about what to do, but I've been stepping out in faith. And so I sold my house, and the house is now sold, and I have the freedom to do what I'm doing. And it's good to be a witness. Jesus told us to go out and to be a witness for him unto the uttermost parts of the earth. So I'm going to the uttermost parts of the earth, and starting here at least today in Hesperia. All right. Well, no, is this Hesperia or Victorville? Victorville. By the way, that's my good friend Esteban Belizio, who's behind the camera, and in the weekly video updates, he's going to be doing the video processing. So yes, I'm stepping out in faith. It's a good thing to be a witness. Good thing to go make disciples. Is it the best way to do it in a 60-year-old truck? Well, probably not. But if I'm stepping out into something where the Lord says, well, maybe this is not the best way, then he can adjust my course. And I've actually prayed to him that if this thing that I'm doing with the truck and that I'm proposing to do in these travels is not going to be the best thing, then he will stop me pretty early on in the process, hopefully before I get across the Colorado River going to the east. So pray for that, but pray, everything else being equal, that the Lord will give me open doors and success and be able to talk to churches, to veterans groups. There's lots of them out there, to be able to talk to students at colleges and even student groups, whether they be Jewish or Christian or whatever. There's lots of opportunities. We're thinking about going to car shows and county fairs, and I'll hand out lots of tracts. I have big magnetic stickers of Bible verses I put on the side of the camper. And so I would really appreciate your prayers and your support. Tell others about these videos that will be coming out every week on my YouTube channel, which is eric.e.engelman. And I'll also be notifications on Facebook and Instagram and X. And so come along for the adventure, me, Sunshine, and on the Harvester International Mission Tour, and we'll see where the Lord takes us. And who knows, maybe 6 months from now, we'll still be posting videos of interesting places, interesting sites, interesting biblical perspectives, and I just trust that it will be a big blessing for you. So thank you for those who are helping me. Estevan behind the camera and the video processing at Power Crown Studios, and also Mrs. Pammy March down in San Diego, who's helping me with the scheduling events and all various administrative things. So coming along, and we'll see what the Lord has for us.